Now is the time to find common ground. Sadly, before the sun had even set on the horrible day of tragedy, we witnessed a now familiar parade of cynical politicians seeking to exploit the tears of sobbing families to increase their own power and take away our constitutional rights. Every time a disturbed or demented person commits such a hideous crime, there's always a grotesque effort by some in our society to use the suffering of others to advance their own extreme political agenda. Even more repulsive is their rush to shift blame away from the villains who commit acts of mass violence and to place that blame onto the shoulders of millions of peaceful, law-abiding citizens who belong to organizations such as our wonderful NRA. When Joe Biden blamed the gun lobby, he was talking about Americans like you. And along with countless other Democrats this week, he was shamefully suggesting that Republicans are somehow okay with letting school shootings happen. They're not okay with it. This rhetoric is highly divisive and dangerous, and most importantly, it's wrong. It has no place in our politics. As always, in the wake of these tragedies, the various gun control policies being pushed by the left would have done nothing to prevent the horror that took place, absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, ever since Columbine, we've been afflicted by a contagion of school shootings carried out by deeply evil, violent, and mentally disturbed young men. While we don't yet know enough about this week's killing, we know there are many things we must do. We need to drastically change our approach to mental health. There are always so many warning signs. Almost all of these disfigured minds share the same profile. When people see something, whether on social media or in school, they need to say something. Teachers, parents, school officials, and community members need to be recognizing and addressing these alarm bells promptly and very, very aggressively. And our school discipline systems, instead of making excuses and continually turning a blind eye, need to confront bad behavior head on and quickly.
Alrighty, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome, guys. We got an interesting show. I decided to myself and Eric here on the show, Alicia. We decided to bring back Tommy Nation Politics. We brought him back for a reason. We had a show last night, 2 shows actually. It was on his show for well over an hour, and he was on my show for well over an hour with Pedro Israel Orta, which we got into the deep state of muck. We got into foreign policy. We even got into the Gromer issue of what went down in Dallas, Texas. Now, that topic holds very dear to my heart because I do not like what's going on. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something entirely different. I'm going to talk about the bias going right now, the media bias. I want to talk about Rittenhouse. I don't know if anybody heard what's going on with Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse is literally vowing that he wants to put an end to corruption going on in media. So without further ado, guys, I want to bring in the co-host here on Tuesdays, Jimmy The Rant. Jimmy, how the hell are you, sir?
What's up, man? Yeah, sorry I couldn't be on last night. I had a commitment that I had to fulfill, and I'm here tonight. So let's have a good show.
Yeah, not a problem. I just want to let you know, Jimmy, that Tommy here, we're only going to have him on the show for roughly about 15, 20 minutes because he has a prior commitment that he has to withhold. So without a further ado, guys, let's bring Tommy Nation Politics. Let's introduce Jimmy to Tommy. He's Jimmy. I got to say, He is a very interesting character, if I may say. I think you're going to be somewhat of impressed by some of his content and material that he brings on the show here. So, without a further ado, guys, let's bring Tommy Nation Politics into the show.
How's it going?
What's up, Tommy?
Welcome,
Hey, Jimmy.
welcome, Tommy. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. You're pretty interesting yourself.
Thank you, thank you.
I did catch. I did watch majority of the episode yesterday. So what I will say is that Tommy did ask a question, right, in the beginning, and I think that maybe I want to expound on it a little bit, where you guys were talking about grooming. He did have a good question. He asked, "Who are the groomers?" And I don't think that an answer was really given to him yesterday. So it was a good question to ask, because when you give a general statement and then you have a general question like that, right, and there's no definitive answer. So I think that if I was to try to dissect it, I would say that if we're talking about the drag queen show, the parents are the groomers in that situation, and they're entitled to bring their kids to wherever they want. Do I agree with it? No, absolutely not. I think it's a shame that they're bringing their kids to a show, and then it was called adult entertainment. And I would say, yes, it is adult entertainment, because there is definitely a fine line between what a performance work would be and what almost being in a strip club would be, right? So the parents are enjoying it a lot more because they know the sexual innuendo, the sexuality of the event that they're at, and the kids have no idea what they're doing. They're giving money away to men that are dressed up as women, or I don't even want to say men dressed up as women, because women don't dress up like that. It's drag queen thing is its own. It's definitely its own category.
Agree.
Yeah, Jimmy. He happens to reside in Dallas, Texas, not too far from this nightclub. Which that's why I wanted to bring him on, because he is very close to the event that happened just, what was it, 3 days ago, I believe. So it's one of the reasons.
I don't necessarily think that. I don't know what the message is, and I'm not gonna try to guess what the parents' message is. I'm gonna bring my kids here, and that shows that we're some kind of inclusive. That doesn't show you're inclusive. That doesn't show that you're tolerant of somebody's sexual preference or whatever. What that shows is that you're willing to have a good time over your children's mental health, and you want to bring them there and say, this is the right thing to do, hand out dollars and this and that. Listen, allow them to grow a little bit first. If you want to teach them about, Johnny has two mommies, Johnny has two daddies, that's fine. That's real life. You're going to see them. Yeah. You're going to maybe be sitting there one day and have to have that conversation.
Yeah, Jimmy, one of the reasons why I decided to bring Tommy back on is because I think there was some misinformation. We were misinforming each other on a lot of key issues. What we were talking about the other night with Pedro. I know Pedro was very heated up. Pedro has a lot of passion, for politics. And Pedro is old school, Jimmy. He's a former CIA agent, served 25, I think it was, 25 years. I have to look at my notation correctly. Yeah, 25 years with the CIA. So, he got into a little heated debauchery, with Tommy here. But, I just want to say, Tommy, please don't look at it as an attack. I do not support that movement whatsoever, but, I will respect, your background, because, for the viewers that don't know Tommy, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to add, Tommy is gay. And, I'm not attacking you, Tommy, whatsoever. That's your own preference. But what I am saying is I don't agree with the whole Dallas event. I just want to close it out like that, sir. I want you to understand, my viewpoint.
I never personally. It's just hard for you, of course, this issue, and not make it personal, because it's I'm gay. Yeah. So it's a little bit more than politics to me, because I live it. But and I appreciate Jimmy's argument. I like that argument a lot more than I will say Pedro's argument, because that kind of makes him a little bit more specific of what you're actually saying. and the grooming isn't me. It's the parents. I think they're bits. What I wanted to do whenever I come, we're going to disagree. Is I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, and because we want to try to work together for the common good always. And so, if we're constantly demonizing each other, those Republicans and Democrats, like my messages on my show, they will take that and they'll try to get elected off of it. We've got to understand each other. That's our goal. Their goal is to get elected. Ours is to understand each other.
Oh, sure, without a doubt,
Well,
without a doubt.
yeah, we definitely have to sit down at the. I think that you could be on any political side you want, but at the end of the day, we have to, at some point, try to learn to sit down with each other and talk about the commonalities of things, right? So, if I had to pinpoint what I would say is grooming that I don't agree with, right? Anything could be grooming. I could, take my kids out and my nephews and teach them to become fucking hardcore whatever. Like I can groom them into a certain music industry or this or that, right? It's catching someone's attention. It's and there's a certain way of doing it. But when we're talking about sexual grooming, right? It's like my issue is I think a lot of people just keep throwing that word out and they don't really understand what's going on. Like this is grooming or grooming. No, grooming to me would be you have a teacher who's trying to you have a teacher that works for the state for a public school and is trying to impose their ideology on your kids in a subtle way or even in a more forceful way, and eventually trying to groom them to meet up with them after or push them in a certain direction, or even like the Catholic Church, like things like that. To me, that is considered, in my opinion, grooming. But I understand people getting upset with that, but listen, if there was a private school where they're like the entire school's fucking, they're all trannies and drag queens, and you want to pay to send your kids there, do whatever the fuck you want. At the end of the day, like it has nothing to do with me, because then I have the choice not to. But when there's taxpayers money and certain things like that, and I have a teacher who's Antifa, green hair, and he's got 7 identities, and he wants to impose his will on my kids, then that's grooming for something. And I don't really agree with that. So
let's I just wanted to close it out like that. I wanted to make sure that Tommy didn't see me as attacking him the other night with Pedro, because I wasn't trying to attack
if I thought you were going to attacking me, I would attack you back. Just
I mean, you and I. Yeah, I understand, Tommy. You and I mean, we do have really good, solid shows. Jimmy can vouch for it. Like he hasn't seen your show. I think he might have seen like 1 or 2 shows of yours, to be honest with you. But we both have great, solid shows. I follow your content. You have a lot of interesting guests that come on your show. Chris, a former military guy that was on your show, and analysis, right? Just listening to him, like, wow, I was blown away. So
it was interesting because we grew up together. Me and Chris.
Some of the guests I have.
We grew up together. Okay. He went to the military. You could just tell that, like, even the environment. It's a very interesting thing, this country, man. Just all kinds of perspectives, all kinds of views. But we've got to get together for the common good. That's all I have to say. Let's just make sure.
I understand, and if anything, if Pedro may have offended you or upset you on any type of level, I'd like to apologize on his behalf, because like you got to understand, Tommy. This guy's a former CIA guy.
I think that was the thing that made me upset more than the gay comments. The CIA.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I don't. I think that if you're, again, I'm no bootlicker, so at the end of the day, if you're, I listened to the episode, and I don't know his credentials other than what you tell me. If you tell me he's 25 years CIA agent, sure. But I'm very skeptical when I get information from someone who says they were in that organization, because the main purpose of the CIA is disinformation and influencing things without black ops, and so I value it somewhat. If we get like an FBI agent, I'd be like, I'd want to talk to that guy. But when it comes to someone who's like, I'm a CIA operative or something like that, it's like, I take it with a grain of salt, unless that guy was a desk jockey, you know what I mean? But other than that,
well, Jimmy, this is a gentleman that I had on the show. Obviously, the second time was last night with Tommy here, and this is a guy that literally served under Clinton, Bush, Obama, and a little bit of Trump. And
That's
I
a lot
mean,
of drone
he's seen
strikes.
some things, literally. What's that, Tommy?
There's a lot of drone strikes right there.
Yeah. I mean, he's seen stuff. I'm sure he has seen some stuff that I'd love to understand what he had seen. But, when you're intel like that and you're retired, you have to take it to the grave that you're not allowed to discuss or disclose any classified information. I'd love to understand what happened at Roswell, and I'd love to understand, the little green men that might be over there. But,
I
we're
don't
not.
think he has
We
any info on that. I'm gonna be honest
Oh,
with
I'm sure he does. I'm
you.
sure he does. I mean, he had told me, there was many trips that he had taken into the Pentagon and the White House. It was like literally like it was his second or third home. Some of the conversations I had with him off the air, you'd be amazed on some of the people that he worked with. He got into some of the people he worked with towards the end of last night's show with Tommy and I. Pompeo, and I mean, just to name a few. So I was blown away. I was like, wow, that's some interesting stuff. But let's move on to different topics. I know Tommy's
I do.
time here is limited.
Someday we should debate on whether or not classified information is constitutional. I would like that debate because like I said, American people should know. We need to promote the general welfare. But I know, yeah, I gotta go. But thank you so much for having me on the show. And nothing, never personal, bro. We buds.
Okay, Tommy. I just wanted to make sure of that. That's all. All right. I had to bring him on. I had to bring him on to squash that. Because I don't want to put any type of emotion on somebody, where it's gonna cause something for me or you or anybody on this show. Like there might have been things last night said on the show last night with Pedro, and some things may have been said not intentionally but accidentally. Like you hear, he
Well,
I'm going to
I
say
think
this one thing here, Jimmy. Like I can respect it in a way, but I can't respect the groomer thing. And I had to let him know that last night. That I find it a disturbing, erratic behavior. I mean, like, what
yeah,
if
I
that was
mean,
your niece or your nephew?
well, the issue is like I said, it's those parents bringing their kids to that shit. I mean, I don't know what their
Yeah.
mindset is. I don't know if they're just like, oh, we're gonna go have a good time, and this is a good time. If that's a good time for you, then my thing is this: as an adult, you know the undertone of that event, right? You know what you're going there for. You're going to see men in makeup, dancing around, drag queens, whatever. And I'm not knocking them. They're making a living. They're doing their thing. But when you bring a kid there, they have no idea of what it is. To them, it's like being at the circus. No offense, guys, girls, whatever. I'm not trying to compare you to being in a circus, but I'm talking about from a kid's point of view. If you brought me to something like that when I was 7 or 8, I would think that these are fucking clowns dancing around. I would have no idea that in my head I'm supposed to say, that's a man who dresses up as a woman and he dances around and gets money. I'd have no idea. So, like I said, the parents know the undertone to where they're at, the sexual undertone of the event. They decide to bring them. I don't know if it's like, oh, we're going to go have fucking brunch over here and do this. The kids are on stage handing dollars out. And, it's just fucking, that doesn't prove to me that you're like, I'm raising kids that are tolerant. It's insane.
Jimmy, it's grotesque, man. It's grotesque. It's erratic behavior. I said last night, and Pedro kind of understood what I was getting at. Like, that's why you have children that grow up to be murderers. They, sometimes they may, become gay, in their own aspect, but they just don't become gay with a flick of a switch. They become gay because of things like this. They have parents that don't teach correctly, or maybe they've been sexually abused as a child. There's so many different avenues of them becoming go in that direction as an adult later in life. You know what I mean?
No, I do.
So
I mean, I can't agree with you on that people don't that just aren't gay like that. I've grown up with people that we knew that there was something about them when we were like real young, and they ended up being gay, and it was no big surprise, and we kind of understood that. So I do think that people can be born gay. I'm not going to sit here, and I think some people from at a real early age, they kind of have this thing where they know that they're not like everyone else. So I'll say that, but I'm not going to bring my kids to an event like that for the simple fact that I have to, pledge my loyalty to a group and say, look at me, I'm virtue signaling. Look at me, I'm a good guy. I brought my kids to the drag queen.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that Pedro brought up. You know, like, you want us to literally respect your views in a way, okay, but don't push it on society thinking that we have to, you know what I mean? That's exactly.
I agree with you. I agree. I think the problem is too, is it's like they come to you, let's say I go to Mike, hey, how do you feel about this? No, I'm not with it. I don't like it. Oh, you're a bigot. So it's like, at the same time, you want to push tolerance, but you're not tolerant, in my opinion. You're not tolerant of what I believe in. And somehow you peg me for the history of the world. You go, well, people like you have done this for so long, so you're a piece of shit. And you're like, that has nothing to do with me. My carbon footprint has only been here for X amount of years. Like, I'm who I am, not to be compared with somebody who's lived before me. It has nothing to do with me unless I got some generational wealth or some bad shit. I shouldn't be put in that category. And the identity thing is correct. It's, you have these people that are struggling with their identity. A lot of these mass shooters, they have green hair, they have a dead look in their eye, they're not too sure who they are, they're not too sure what they like, they're super confused, and having multiple gender identity issues is obviously going to play a part in that mental illness and that gender dysphoria. So,
sure.
I will say that if you're struggling with,
well, this is, go
ahead. I don't know.
Yeah, well, this is exactly what why I feel the way I feel. I want, and then I want with another topic here. I want to squash this issue, thinking so people don't think I'm against the LGBTQ plus. I'm not against it. I'm against them imposing their agenda. Check this out, guys.
I only have one question. Why do you want to put an axe wound in between your son's legs?
That's the point. That's the point. This is a really issue.
Y'all need to go.
Let us in and get the ticket.
You're not making America great.
Yes, we are. What do you mean? You're making America worse. You're bringing your children
You need to go.
to this event.
You need to go now.
You're literally someone better call CPS on you. Please do. We'll pray for you.
You must repent.
Bless you, man. Please. You're in a cult. I'm in a cult. Says the man dressed in a dress.
I wonder if the mama bear instinct is going to come out in 3 years when the mainstream Democrat Party platform is they want to rape your kids. And they're all going to think it's one big, smug little joke, these people, by the way. Understand that there is a bigger difference between 10 years ago and now than there would be between now and in 5 years when they're openly advocating for pedophilia like they've already started doing. You people are the symptom of a dying society, and you know it.
You're scaring children. Shut the
We're
fuck
scaring
up.
children.
Shut the
But
fuck
not
up. Shut the fuck up.
Jeez.
You are child abusers.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Jimmy?
I will listen.
They're saying that. Yeah.
They have the guy has a valid point. There's been a lot of talk now. I know California has some legislation to try to ease up on pedophiles, and then on top of that, they want to try to. There's a lot of the media tries to implant a lot of keywords in your head. They want you to be programmed, mass shooter, active this, or now they want to do what is that? They want to try to change people they want to take the word pedophile out and they want to use a more friendlier term, which is minor attracted person, so MAPS. So they want somebody to be called a MAP or whatever the fuck it is. So I think he's not wrong. I think that we know that there's a lot of weird shit that goes on like that within the entertainment industry, and now you have the entertainment industry intertwined with government. So who knows? Maybe he's right. Maybe in another 10 years, pedophilia will be something that's like, oh, it's a slap on the wrist. Don't worry about it. Oh, your kid got molested by somebody. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And I think, what happens is our government plays on the left's feelings. They go, you know what? We're going to play on your feelings. What about the kids? What about the kids? What about the kids? We got to protect the kids. They've been talking about protecting the kids, Head Start, no child left behind when it comes to education. The kids are failing. They're lowering the fucking passing grade. Then when it was COVID, it was like, don't you care about your grandma? Don't you care about grandma? Well, guess what? Grandma's on Medicare. She can't even get a pair of fucking glasses because you don't care about my grandma. So I'm not going to sit here and listen. I'm not going to sit here and believe the government when they're like, we care about the kids and we're going to do so much for the kids and we really care about the safety of the kids. Bull fucking shit. And I think that guy's right. I think that I wouldn't be surprised that in another 5 years
they're saying, I like the point where, like she's saying or he's saying or it's saying or I don't even know the fucking correct pronouns anymore, terminology for it, where they, right? This is where the point where Tommy got upset because we kept on using the word they last night, because we don't know how to describe these people, like you don't want to say the wrong pronoun. So you want to try to say something that's probably not going to offend people. So by saying they, I don't think that's nasty by saying it. I think it's nasty if you call somebody a woman, it's really a guy. That's nasty, right? So we said they. So when they're asking, stop, you're scaring children, and then the other person, in John Dole, I don't know if you know who he is. John Dole's a huge content creator through the conservative movement, and he's a big guy. So he was in downtown Dallas about 3 ago. And the reason why I'm saying this, folks, is because this is a topic that's not getting addressed on mainstream for some odd reason. I guess it doesn't fit their narrative, Jimmy. But John Dole and his other part of his posse, if you want to say it like that, was saying, you're saying that we're scaring children, but this is coming from somebody that is a man dressed in woman's clothing, right? You don't think that's scaring children?
I just think that the government should stay at it. I think that if the government's going to pass something that says that it's a hate crime to beat somebody up or to harass them because they're homosexual, I have no problem with that. I would say that the people who represent us are representing us well by doing that. But the fact that state legislation is like, well, we can let men into women's bathrooms and women into men's bathrooms and shit like that, that's something they should stay out of. It's not that's not a if you said it's a hate crime to attack somebody, then I would agree with you. That's violence, right? You could pinpoint what that is. There's an individual that wants to hurt somebody or harass them or whatever because of their sexual preference. But when it comes to like the science behind things, if you're a man, you're a man. If you're a woman, you're a woman. There's 400 fucking gender identities. It's plain and simple. You could be a man and you could be gay. You could be a man, you could be straight. And that's the only way I see it. In my opinion, that's the way I see it for a woman as well. And, anything other than that to me doesn't make sense. So I think that the government should stay out of those things. It doesn't need to be legislation to say, well, no, it's okay. Let it happen.
Right. The topic here, Jimmy. Let's get on to this Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse seems to be back in the news. I've seen an article on Breitbart and a few other platforms. As Max touched on it, a few other platforms. Rittenhouse is now basically going out on social media saying that he vows to expose mainstream for fake narratives, that they have to be held accountable for invasion of privacy. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I think mainstream media is 1,000% biased and it's 1,000% influential, and their own most of your mainstream media, well, mostly all of it is owned by big corporations, and that is the edited version coming out of the idiot tube that you're getting to kind of put you in a certain direction, right? Like when they wanted to fearmonger over COVID, when they want to now they want to fearmonger over mass shootings, which there should be concern about. But I mean, the way and approach they go about it, it's like, oh, we don't talk about the person who did it. Now we're gonna blame Mike for it now, and you're like, I wasn't there, I have nothing to do with it. Well, fuck it, we're gonna blame you. And I think Rittenhouse he's like, I can't even leave my house anymore because I've been demonized and scrutinized the entire time. So I want retribution from the media. The way that the media attacks people and they call it journalism, it's not journalism. Those people are reporters and they report whatever the fuck gets put on the TV monitor in front of them. I don't know who edits for them. A real journalist is out in the shit and he's getting content and stuff like that. And unfortunately, basically, that you have this huge network where you could put anything you want out of your TV, and they know that they have the media knows they have that power. So what they did was for a year and a half that he was on trial after he shot those pieces of shit. What else could he have done? Like, I mean, if he leaves the house now, he's a fucking target for people. So he has to walk around with constant security, and he's pissed off about that. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. I think maybe if he waits another couple of years, maybe grows a mustache or something, people will kind of forget about it. But in the back of his head, it's like, I could be in this neighborhood and somebody's like, I'm going to fuck this guy up. And you have to live with that forever because, of doing a good deed, unfortunately. Kid got attacked, he shot someone, and then it was the gun's fault. Not, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the guy with the illegal. It wasn't the guy with the illegal gun posing as a medic. It wasn't the guy trying to bash his head in with a skateboard. The accountability for them is gone. Don't worry about those guys. It's okay. It's him and his rifle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, Jimmy, this is the same. Is this the same media that we're seeing from the 70s and 80s and 90s? I don't think so. In the 80s and 70s and 60s, media actually covered news. They weren't controlled by the government, or at least the government didn't control the media, however you want to see it, right? The media did not use fear-mongering. At least I didn't see any fear-mongering then. I mean, I was a little kid, but I can remember like the news literally covering news. Local on the 8s, you get your local news, and then that was it. You didn't have like a whole bunch of biased crap like, oh, Trump is doing this, doing that wrong, and like and that. You didn't see crap, So.
Well, you had it. There's always been opposition, and I think when it came to politics, though, both sides were a little bit more civil, right? And also on top of that, there was more patriotism in the country at the time. So people would rally behind their president, even if I never seen Republicans like, I really fucking hate this guy. Like the way that people felt about Trump and the way that people feel about Biden. Back then, people felt that way to a degree, but they didn't feel the need that they had to go out and attack everyone over it. So there was a level of respect, like, oh, I voted for this guy, he didn't get in. Yeah, we're fucked, but you're still my neighbor. Nowadays, it's like, you're my neighbor, you voted for this guy, let's duke it out all day, online, in person. And it was a lot different. And it was a different generation of people, man. Different generation of people. People were coming together. Late 80s, early and 90s, people were coming together.
I just don't understand where the media's went, where it has gone, like how it became so radicalized. And a lot of people, they don't like that word for some strange, odd reason, Jimmy, like radicalized. When they hear radicalized, they hear like, it sounds like a terrorist type of word. Well, that's what it is. It's radicalized, can be looked as a form of domestic terrorism in a way, but just not, that crazy. You know what I mean? Oh, has got what 30 plus almost years. I, I don't understand how they became a, you know.
Well, it's programming. I mean, what comes out of that TV can program you to a degree. It can influence
Well, yeah, it's
you.
programming. Yeah, I said this. Yeah, yeah, it's programming. Video games, right? You play video games, but at the end of the day, it's all about fantasy and stuff like that, and it's make believe. You got kids today that are playing video games, and then fast forward 20, maybe 30 minutes later, they're going down the street and they're committing mass murder. It's
Well, I think I don't know. You're kind of cutting out on me a little bit.
okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're a little choppy. Your stream, it was a little choppy.
Hang on.
So I don't know if it's that extreme where someone's playing a video game, running down a block and committing a crime. But what I mean is, like, you think about it with COVID, it was a means of fear mongering the entire time. They blasted COVID content. They blasted why you were a piece of shit if you didn't want to get tested, or the vaccination, or how you weren't part of the you weren't part of the solution, you were the problem. And what about grandma and this and that? And that goes to show you exactly how powerful the TV is when it comes to content, or how powerful your phone is when blasting content all day. It's programming. If the news has 3 segments, morning, midday, and night, and they play the same thing, and you watch it over and over and over, sooner or later it's going to change your mind in a certain way, because that's what it does. It's the same thing with music. Sometimes you might listen to a song and say, this shit is crap, and you listen to it 10 times and you're like, and the way that the radio plays it on TV, then you're like, oh, it's tolerable now. So, and that's the issue with the way the media is. They're not reporting on things that are positive anymore. There's no positive stories. It's all about what they're going to hit you with next. I mean, there's no like, oh, monkeypox is coming to get you. It's straight up fucking horror porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting word you use, horror porn, right? I mean, that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing horror porn. A clip here of just exactly what we're talking about. Rittenhouse literally weighing in narratives, but this one right here, he wants to weigh in on the Depp trial, right? Johnny Depp. We just finished with Johnny Depp. It was a cartoon show, guys. Check this out.
Breitbart News published an article about you recently, about how Johnny Depp inspired you. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? How has Johnny Depp come into your life, and how has that narrative spoken to you?
Well, just seeing that people can still be held accountable for false narratives, for lies that are put out about them. Nobody should be lied about or smeared by the media, no matter who you are.
So hat tip over to Bright News for that. Thank you very much, Mark. Your insights on that? I mean, do you think Kyle has a point there,
Well, he has a point. I mean, I read a couple articles beforehand about how he feels, and I mean, he got gaslit. He got dragged through the mud for a long time, and and he wants a little bit of retribution, and he feels the same way. And believe it or not, what Trump said was about fake news and that becoming a hashtag and people realizing it. It's 100% right. You have a lot of disinformation that's floating around, things that aren't credible, and unfortunately, it's being hand delivered to you, like I said, 3 times a day. So if whoever they choose to demonize, that's what's going to happen, right? Like, like let's take, for instance, the media and how they have demonized Proud Boys, right? Let's just bring them in the mix. So, you know, they've gone on a national level to really demonize this group. And I'm not saying things they've done is right or wrong, right? What I mean is they've spent so much time to demonize them, and yet there's far radical leftist groups that are just as big, that have influence and that have been to rallies and cause destruction. And they're not even a blip on the radar. You don't hear about them at all. You hear about January 6th, but you don't hear about people burning down like when you have the George Floyd riots, they burned down cities, they burned down police stations with police still inside trying to get out.
Yeah.
They were beating up fucking shop owners, knocking them out cold, robbing them, and doing this and that. And the way they reported on that compared to the way they reported on any patriot organization is fucking insane.
That's exactly. See, Jimmy, that's exactly when you have liberal talking points versus conservative talking points. You'll have liberals that will literally sell on their talking points, okay? But when you go to bring in a conservative talking point, it's entirely different. It does not represent their base. And I think that's what's going on with media today. I know that's what's going on with media today. It's it's literally it's creating the great divide here in the country. What and Antifa to cause riots in these major inner cities, but then you have people such as parents, right? It just happened here in downtown Dallas, for example, right? This country's sick, you know.
Well, there's a great divide already. There's a great divide between a lot of us, and like I said, the same way individuals are struggling with gender identity, right, is the same way most people in this country are dealing with political identity, right? They don't know where they fit in, and they're constantly trying to find an area on either side of the spectrum on where they're at, right? So then a lot of people fall into the more radicalized side, right? Or what happens is a good deflection tool from each side is anyone like us may be questioning something, talking about something, we're all of a sudden we're super right wing, we're bigots, we're this, we're that, instead of saying, you know what, maybe there's some talking points there, maybe I don't agree with them, and maybe I'd like to discuss it with them. And that's, like I said, that's what we've lost. Now it's just polarized on each side, where it's like you have groups meeting up in the street and beating the crap out of each other. So the media definitely plays on that. And they have been playing on it for a very long time. And like I said, they are a weapon used by big corporations and by the government. And when they use the media to and they weaponize it against you, it plays a big role in the outcome of a lot of things, especially with your life. So, you know, people should be held accountable. There's a lot of power.
Tommy, Tommy made a point earlier in the show tonight. He said that we have to do what's right for the common good. What do you think he means by that? Because I hear that a lot, not only from Tommy, but I hear it from other shows too. They constantly use that same phrase. We have to do what's good for the common good.
Well, I mean, we're all, people use this expression all the time. If you're on a plane and you don't like the captain, do you want him to crash the plane? You know what I mean? So the point is it's like we're all on a plane together, and I don't know if it's a great analogy, but what I mean is doing right by each other. We have to learn how to be civil. We have to learn how to come to the table and hash shit out. And we could still disagree strongly about things, but we have to find a common ground. And that's the whole point of what the Senate and Congress is supposed to be, where those two parties find a common ground. The problem is now is each party is so far to the left and right that there's no more once one side gets more leverage, they run off with it. So it's like if the left knows that the Democratic Party's got any pull with like 2A, they're going to use that to their advantage. They're going to put in a million articles of legislation to try to have it pass
without a
through,
doubt,
because it's strengthening their party, and
yeah.
they can have a hostile takeover of the entire House, the presidency, everything. And then at the end of the day, you are at their whim when it comes to policy and legislation. When you talk about it that way, so the common good is us sitting down and kind of saying, we hear you, you hear us. Where do we meet in the middle, and how do we fix this a little bit to keep going? Because if we keep tearing at the fabric of this nation, then there won't be nothing left in a couple of years.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I said last night on the show that we, in order to preserve this country, Jimmy, we have to go back to the formula of this country. We have to honor laws, whether we agree with the laws or not. Laws are put into any country, balance out its society. You know what I mean? So that's what we have to do.
Well, I would say that we have to do our part in trying to make it a better place. But right now, let's use like 2A is a hot debate. Like, should people have AR-15? Should they have this? And the media is trying to weaponized against the gun industry right now. And the problem I have is that I don't even know if it's a right or left thing, or if it's just a government, like a tyrannical government approach to things. I'm sorry, but we can meet in the middle. You could tell me, I don't like guns, and on one side could say we like guns, and then let's find a common ground. Like, where do we think that we can help? Do we raise the age to 21 for you to get a gun? Maybe. Do we require you to get training? Do we require a certain amount of training before you can actually own a weapon? Maybe. Maybe those are things to talk about, but trying to disarm the people, right? Where's that going to get us? Like, yeah, like it says in the Constitution will not be infringed upon, because I watched a video the other day of a guy with a rock get shot by police. He had a fucking rock. Not a knife, not a gun. He had a rock. So even being on the right,
literally stoned him.
A stone. He had a stone, and they shot him because he wouldn't put it down. So
well, that's looked at as a weapon, though, Jimmy. So you got to understand, like, he was posing a threat to these police officers.
No.
You know what I mean?
We can't compare you having a gun to a guy with a fucking rock. I don't want to hear that. You're gonna live. If he wasn't that close. I mean, we're not talking about a knife, which when we talk about knives is different. But what I'm saying is, I don't want the government and the police to only people with guns, because that was the intent of that foundational.
You look at these cops as being militarized, right? You don't want the cops being militarized.
No, absolutely not. They're supposed to be citizens on patrol.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that on that too. Yeah.
That was the point of policing, citizens on patrol, people in your neighborhood that know your neighborhood, and they're supposed to know your demographic. And I know we've had a lot of problems with that, and I still support police, and I support bad guys going to jail and getting arrested. But what happens is, and we've seen it now, is that these agencies, DOJ, FBI, CIA, they're starting to use their power to lock people up, because they are considering them like enemies of the state, and it's not even them breaking.
See, I think the problem, the problem with all this, Jimmy, is that you have media influence the hell out of all this. They're influencing it. They're causing all this influence. Causing the fear-mongering, the influence, the divide. And what does that do to a society? It breaks it down by elements. I mean, it just makes a country weaker instead of stronger. I mean, we're supposed to be a strong nation. We still are, in a way. But when we have to deal with this, we're not strong. We're weak-minded. Do you think that other countries look at this as America becoming more weaker than stronger? Absolutely. It poses a big threat on our nation, both on a domestic and a foreign side. When we have conflicts that come into this country with our police, with our local citizens, our neighbors, everything for that matter. It puts us on the world stage as a weak country that's open to open attacks. And you think other countries look at that? Sure, they do.
Well, we're definitely, if we're on the world stage, we're looked at as a fucking clown at this point because.
Oh, sure. Yeah, especially under this administration.
I don't condone any other country that's like, oh, we're hardcore, so you guys are this. Like, yeah, we have a lot of issues here. We're a melting pot of people, and it's hard. We're battling race, gender, politics. Like, we have a broad selection of things that we're arguing about. Again, people used to be more patriotic. They had a sense of national pride. And I'm American, and it was fucking awesome to be American because this was the best country in the world. And, unfortunately, right now, it's like our government's sending money overseas when we need it here. They're just fucking loading it up and shipping off our taxpayers, our tax money everywhere else.
Yeah.
Their main concern is the patriot movement. Opposed to, the communist movement, opposed to foreign aggression, opposed to,
You talk about this movement. Actually, there's people that actually support that crap, Jimmy. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a socialist. I'm proud of it. Socialism. Like, not understand what the message behind socialism is. It destroys countries.
Well, socialism
kills democracy.
It turns into communism. That's what happens. So who? Yeah. It's like Animal Farm, the book. It's who's in control of making it a socialist society. So you go, well, we're gonna leave the government in control. You really think they're gonna fucking baseline everything? You think they're gonna streamline everything where everybody's equal? No, it's going to be some animals are equal and some animals are more equal than others. All animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than others. That's what happens because unfortunately there's a part of us as humans that make us greedy. And if everybody had to get on a bread line and I was part of the government and said, you know what, I could take 3 fucking loaves of bread. I'm going to do that. And then your socialism doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. All it does is everybody's collectively poor except for a certain people at the top. So I don't believe in that. And,
Yeah, I don't believe in it either. I think the people that do support it, they don't know exactly what the hell they're supporting. They don't know the true definition of socialism or communism. Like I said before, and I'll repeat myself, folks, so you can understand. Jimmy just laid it out really, really nicely here on the show. And I said that too, socialism, communism, it kills countries. It destroys democracies. Look at Cuba. Look at Venezuela. Look at China. Hell, look at even Russia, Germany. Every great country, Jimmy, has diminished under socialism and communism.
Well, look at China, for example. When they were 100% communist, they were poor as fuck. The people were starving. Then they came over like end of the 1970s, early 80s. They were like, we're going to be this like weird capitalist. We're going to be kind of like a capitalist country, but the social part of communism will be the element, right? Like Big Brother owns everything, but we'll let people get rich and you kick back money up to us. And we're still going to be the big red army. But at the end of the day, we're going to fucking reap the benefits. And now they're the fucking powerhouse of the world. They have more money than everyone. So they're reaping the benefits off of capitalism, even though they're living under their, communist umbrella. So they embody certain communism things, but they're different. They're not 100% communist. So you can't say communism works. It never works because it's the thought that other people are, and same thing with socialism. when you think about like Canada and you go, we got socialized healthcare. Well, yeah, well, your taxes are astronomical and your wait times. So yeah, maybe you don't have to pay for that MRI.
Yeah, I just heard that from a I just heard this from a Canadian actually the other day, you know, and he put out on True Social the other day where he was like, the universal healthcare in Canada works like wonders. And I'm thinking the same thing that you just said, Jimmy. Like, okay, it almost sounds similar to Obamacare when you had humongous amounts of tax that was piled onto that system.
I've talked to a couple people from Canada. They'll tell you like, listen, if you're going to a regular doctor, I think it's kind of cool, right? Yeah, it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you go to a doctor, you see your doctor, he gives you a fucking prescription. You're not paying for any of that. You fucking have a good day. But when it comes to like more advanced shit, they don't.
Yeah, you're gonna want private healthcare. Yeah,
they don't absolutely. And listen, they don't have. You know, like I spoke to this one guy and he told me, he goes, my back's fucked up. And because I could still move around, it's considered an elective surgery, so it's not like a major thing where they have to rush me in. So he goes, I have to wait about 1.5 years to get this surgery, but it's going to be 100% covered. It's going to be free. I'm going to walk out of it. I'm not going to owe anything. But he goes, I'm going to be in pain for 1.5 years. He goes, you guys have the option to, you know, at least with a private healthcare, go there and pay off the debt so I can go get fixed up and pay it off and be in a happier place instead of waiting around. So,
oh, sure.
You know, so yes. And then also with socialism, it's like, look at the people on the street, man. Like, I don't want to work harder to fucking support these people. No offense. Like, they need to get off their ass.
Neither do I. Neither do I. But, you know, I will admit on this show, Jimmy, like, if I see a homeless vet, I'm going to give money to them because I look at that as a different direction. You know, like some of the reasons why homeless people are on the street is due to PTSD from wars and stuff like that. And I get it. They can't help themselves. Their mentality is a lot different from an average homeless person. An average homeless person, by the end of the day, Jimmy, you know, one man's opinion over another is just plain out, you know, fucking lazy. There's no reason. Yeah, they have mental illness. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason why they're on the street. You know, poor decisions. But you know, like, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you, Jimmy.
I don't think we're coming. I think in my travels, at least, I'm not coming across a lot of people that are telling me they're vets that are homeless. Yesterday, when I was going to the thing that I told you about that I had a commitment for, I drove past a kid that I used to hang out with back in the day. He's out of his mind on the highway asking for money. Most of the people I run across, I mean, he wasn't the best of people anyway, so it is what it is. But
so he wasn't really a good friend of yours.
No,
he was
wasn't,
just kind of like a person you've seen from time to time, right?
Yeah, we hung out, same group, and then as we got older, he was a shady character. But what I mean is that most of the people I run in, they have drug and alcohol problems or mental illness. So, you know, I don't mind. The problem is that when you have democratic states and cities, they put a lot of money into those programs for these people. They dump a lot in the social sector, and it still doesn't do anything. Because it doesn't do anything because those people don't want to help themselves. I know people that are recovering drug addicts that are doing awesome right now. Great, right? But that was because they made that decision. They went to rehab like 40 times before they decided to change their ways. And that comes out of our money, unfortunately. That comes out of taxpayers' money. I paid for, you know, we're working hard to pay for people to go to rehab 40 times. Now, the success stories, though, those are the best part. I see people, they come out, they get their teeth redid, they fucking live their life, they do great, they work out. And you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of those people and good job. But there's a shitload of people, man, that are fucked up. And it's like, that's what socialism is. You want me, I have 10 apples, but now I have to give 8 of them away because I have too many and people need them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not making that much right now.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fucking giving away everything or doing this or doing that. We don't live in that utopia.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody's making that much today, especially in these times, like I just heard from somebody the other day that some people look at today's times worse than the Great Depression, you know?
I mean, I wouldn't know because I didn't live through that era, and I think I would probably say it was maybe a little bit worse. I mean, I have creature comforts, man. I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at right now, and I think a lot of people are. You know, I mean, I always want more because I'm always striving for more, but I'm somewhat content. I'm talking to you right now. I have Wi-Fi, I have a computer, I have great family and hot water every time I turn it on, and most of the world can't say the same. So, and that's the point. The point is that when we shit on America, we shit on everybody in the world that doesn't have what we have because we're taking it for granted. We should be happy that we grew up and we live in one of the best countries in the world. And what makes it that way is the people. And we need to all at some point learn how to sit down and talk some shit out.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, I heard the sirens in the background there. Somebody's in trouble.
They're coming to get me.
Uh-oh. They're gonna bring you to the house, right? No, I'm just playing. But guys, hold that thought, Jimmy, because we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute or two. Guys, I got two promo codes I want to give out. Hell, Jimmy, you might want to write it down. It might save you a couple dollars. Who knows? Guys, we're sponsored here by Amazon. Yeah, thank you, Amazon. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Amazon, right? Get Amazon Music / The Patriot Angle, guys. You're gonna save money, and I'll tell you why. For the first 30 days, you'll get free content from Patriot Angle Podcast, give you access of up to 50 million songs, podcasts. You're going to be able to see some of these podcasts that are not free on the platform. Our show here, the Patriot Angle Podcast, is free. The reason why I keep it free is because it's not about money. It's about getting the content out there because there are a lot of uneducated people out there that just don't know. I'm not saying that mean. I'm just saying that, on an honest a point. We keep the show free on Amazon Music. There's other shows on there that are set on a premium base, such as your Joe Rogans, your Tucker Carlsons, your Michael Savage, your Pat McAfee's, all those. I'm just naming for a few. Those shows you'll get for free under 30 days. You're basically getting that package, guys, for free. So use that promo code, the Patriot Angle Podcast, and you're going to get up to 3 days for free. Also, too, guys, if you head over to Helium 10, right, for all my e-commerce people out there, helium10.com. Just picked this up here on the show. We have two promo codes. The first promo code, guys, is for the first month, you're going to get 50% off by signing up by using Patriot50, the first promo code. If you'd like to use another promo code, we have Patriot10. What that is after signing up, you get every month 10% off the membership. It's phenomenal, guys. Helium 10 is for that e-commerce merchant, whether you're selling anything, products, movies, t-shirts, anything. Use Helium 10. They're going to take your products, your brand, and they're going to upload them onto big sites such as Walmart.com and Amazon.com. That's right, guys. Your products, your brand, your material will be uploaded right to Walmart.com and Amazon.com. Use those promo codes, Patriot50, Patriot10. You're going to save money. I guarantee it. Back here on the show, we're going to close it out here with Jimmy and myself here momentarily. I got to say, Jimmy, it's been a hell of a week here on this show. Hell of a week. Wish I had you on last night's show because Pedro was looking for you. He was like, "Where's Jimmy at? Where's Jimmy?" I said,
"Yeah, we'll get together. We'll get together. We'll get together."
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have him on the show because I definitely want to introduce you to some of these people that that we have the utmost honor of contacting. Because Jimmy, I've had some very interesting people on the show with a lot of different political background. So I definitely want to introduce you to Pedro, because like I said, this guy, he brings a lot of great material here, not on this show, but on his Instagram panel. He's constantly uploading some great stuff. Pedro Israel Orta, you can follow him on Instagram. He's highly into the spiritual quotes every single day. Jimmy, he has a different type of spiritual quote, which I love. It's great. It kind of, for those people that may have had a bad day or they need that energy boost. Some people look at these quotes as like I said, an energy boost, to get them started. So that's what I love about him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a check. I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have PJ coming back on. PJ wants to spit some politics. He's calling it breaking news. Everything that comes out of PJ seems to be breaking news. You go on his Instagram. I don't know if you've checked him out lately. Where he's like, "Hi, I'm PJ, the founder of Archangel Protective Intelligence. This month we're going to be talking about surveillance and what's wrong about it." And I love his little homemade videos that he does. Really good stuff. But
Yeah, I always have a good conversation with him, and there's always an interesting bunch of people you bring on. So I like to pick their brains and kind of see.
As you can see, the dough is growing. I thought you might like the graphics. I think it looks phenomenal. So hat tip to Alicia. Thank you very much, Alicia, for doing this. She works her ass off creating these images. Eric works his ass off. But I have an announcement to make, guys. Announcement. Starting August 15th. I had to get the dates correct. August 15th, guys. This show will no longer have producer Eric or producer Alicia on the show. We're losing them. Losing some good talent that keeps this show alive. But fear no fear, guys. I will be taking over, not only hosting, but obviously, doing the video plugins. It's going to be extremely hard, but I'm going to try my best, guys, to keep the show going on a daily and weekly basis. I know in August, guys, we're going to have Sauce here in Atlanta. So I'm going to basically, at the end of August, I'm going to basically show Sauce basically how to do all this stuff. Because Sauce, for those who don't know, guys, Sauce is mainly a audio podcaster. He doesn't have any idea of how video podcasting works, broadcasting. It's difficult for people that don't know how to do it. But I'm going to show Sauce how to do it. And Sauce is going to be like, my second-hand man for those 3 days, Jimmy, while he's here. So it's going to be interesting 3 days. But
teach him what you know.
I'm gonna try my best, Jimmy. I'm gonna try my best. Also, speaking of Sauce, I want to make an announcement before we close out. And Jimmy might not know this. This is actually really sad stuff about Sauce. Sauce is battling some health issues right now, guys. One of the reasons why he's not doing his own show. Remember, God loves you, and I'll meet you at the finish line with Saucelin Temison. Sauce is battling some health issues, and he just had possibly another heart attack or stroke, probably due to stress. Yeah, and right now he's suffering from either possibly COVID or strep throat. He was just on my show last week. If anybody heard Sauce talking, I only had Sauce on the airwaves for like about 10 minutes. I had to pull the plug literally, and I had to tell Sauce that, Sauce, we understand if you can't continue the show, because his voice was very groggy and it just didn't seem like him. So, please everybody keep Sauce in your thoughts as he's, battling possibly COVID or strep throat, severe strep throat. So I want to make that announcement.
Get better, bud. If you're listening, get better.
Exactly. If you are listening. Yeah. Honey, ginseng tea. Ginseng tea is good. Zinc, phenomenal. Load up on the vitamins, and that's the only way you can keep your immune system actively strong. And for anybody too that's possibly battling weak immune systems today, especially in today's times, you don't know who to believe, when it comes to this type of crap. You know what I mean, Jimmy? Like, there's so many different types of false narratives, even with COVID. That they say you might have COVID, but it might be something entirely different. So.
Yeah.
We live in a
Watch out.
Yeah, we live in a disinformed world now where we can't even trust the pharmaceutical industry, and it's sad. It's sad that our nation, our society has become that way. Very sad. Jimmy, thank you, and we'll see you later, bud.
Till next time. See you guys later.
Out our website, patriotpodcast.com, and also our unfiltered merchandise, patriotunfiltered.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.